Welcome back to episode 5 of KickBack. Today is packed. We're covering 4 match weeks in one episode.
Exactly. Week 9 to week 12 of the ADNOC Pro League. A lot of goals, tight games, and a momentum shift. Let's get into it.
Let's start with game week 9. Ajman versus Dibba. 2-0 the victory. Large spells of domination for Ajman, and it didn't take until the 78th minute to break the deadlock. Ismail Mu'min scored the goal, and then Islam Faiz in the 91st minute to cement the 3 points for Ajman.
Benias versus Khorfakkan. Benias struggled this time. Khorfakkan fully controlled the match with a strong organization and intensity. They were efficiently took their chances and were supported by an excellent goalkeeper performance from Ahmed Hamdan. While Benias struggled to match the tempo and lacked the quality to get back into the game, they now must reassess and improve ahead of upcoming games.
Al Ain versus Kalba, 2-0. Of course, people are going to talk about the Laba Kojo goals. He scored 2. He was unlucky not to get 3 in the 55th minute. But I want to give the props to the defense. Out of possession defensively as a unit, Al Ain were incredible. And Khalid Isa pulled off saves to cement the clean sheet as well.
Al Nasr versus Batayh was 3-2 for Al Nasr. Al Nasr won in a wide open game. Despite the poor defensive organization from both teams, with Mahdi Qaidi scoring a decisive third goal in the 7th minute of stoppage time to secure a dramatic late victory.
Al Jazeera versus Dhafra, 4-2. A big win for Al Jazeera as they climbed into third. Not only was it a cracking match, but with goals from Khalifa Al Hamadi, Vinicius Melo, Mohamed Al Ninni, and Bruno Oliveira, it also puts them at 17 points at this stage of the season. And Al Dhafra did fight back with 2 goals, but Goodmanson's goals wasn't enough, and it kind of reflects their season.
Al Wahda versus Al Sharjah was 1-1. The former Al Wahda coach had the opportunity to play against his previous team, and it was a balanced match, ended in a draw. Al Sharjah took the lead through Pablete in the 64th minute, but Al Wahda responded quickly with Joja scoring in the 7th minute, ending the game with both sides sharing a point.
I had the privilege of commentating the Shabab Al Ahli versus Al Wasl game, and I have to say that Al Wasl played the perfect half in their approach and how to really nullify Shabab Al Ahli. Not only was it something I expected to rain goals because of the experience and the fact, the history of this fixture, but also Mesut Moral had his fingerprints all over the Al Wasl team. Looking at it here, what I saw Renato Tapia, Jimenez and Sidibe winning the battle in the midfield. So already I was conscious of how much ground they covered, but could they sustain it was the question. Paulo Sousa had other ideas, because what he did is in the second half, it was a different looking Shabab Al Ahli. Straight away, they came out with goals, they had ideas, and the war came in the second half. They responded with 2 goals from Yuri Cesar and an incredible strike from Mohamed Al Mansouri, which secured the 3 points. And the goal at the end, I was commentating this game, the goal at the end that he shot from outside the box had me out of my seat.
Wow.
And I had no ties in this fixture. But it was a great game overall, and it showered goals 3-2.
So that's it for week 9. Let's move into week 10. Al Wahda versus Khorfakkan was 1-0 for Al Wahda. Al Wahda showed a strong tactical discipline and controlled the game through a better possession and defensive organization. Khorfakkan defended with strength and looked to a counter-attack, but failed to turn them into goals. The single goal decided a tight match, with Al Wahda managing the game well secured a deserved win. Al Wasl versus Dibba was 3-1 for Al Wasl. Al Wasl delivered a solid and controlled performance, dominating possession and creating consistent attack and pressure. In the second half, Dibba showed an effort, managed to score, but struggled defensively under a sustained pressure. The result reflected Al Wasl overall advantage and the game management.
Al Nasr versus Al Ain was a massive match. 2-2 overall. The scoreline suggested that maybe it gave Al Nasr and the rest of the league hope that they might get something out of it, considering Al Nasr have only won 8 out of 32 games. But for me, what I noticed in this game, and especially looking at it, was Al Ain's ability to occupy spaces in and out of possession was very impressive. And the formation that was lined up for me stood out, because actually what Ivic did in this is He brought Marcel Ratnik into the middle and had Yahya Nader in the 6. He also had Abdullah Karima Traore come off to right wing back. And it looked like a 4-4-2, but really it was a 4-3-3 going into a 4-5-1, depending on if they had the ball or not. And at the end of the day, a touch of genius by the coach, and overall a great game to commentate and a solid performance in the league. Kalba and Al Jazeera shared the points, with Mongolia scoring his 10th league goal of the season. Going in at 1-0 up, he was well deserved and they played really well. Then up steps the brilliance of Nabil Fekir. Individual brilliance, his free kick, his second free kick, the first one being against Al Ain in May, really showed that touch of class that we were looking for. It wasn't just that, it was a game that a lot of people were excited about, and overall, looking at this game, it had everything. 1-1, there was late drama and ended up with a red card in the game, and it was Nabil Fekir.
Banyas versus Al Dhafra. It was 2-0 for Banyas. Banyas earned a deserved victory thanks to their attacking efficiency and a smart use of chances. Despite Al Dhafra having more possession, the team was well organized defensively and relied on a quick counter-attack, which resulted in 2 decisive goals. On the other hand, Al Dhafra struggled with a poor finishing and failed to turn possession into a real scoring opportunity. The result reflected Banyas' ability to control the game until the final whistle.
Sharjah versus Al Bataih, a game of 2 halves. Sharjah had seemed to control the rhythm and manage the game, even though they went in at 0-0 at half-time. But then Anatoly Bang scored 1 minute into the second half, and from that point, Sharjah had to chase the game. They thought they could score, and it was ruled out for handball in the build-up to Ray Manaj's goal. Mohamed Jum'a made it 2 from a Rashid Mohair assist, and another frustrating night for Sharjah, which they remain 11 points and in 11th position.
Shabab Al Ahli versus Ajman. It was a very interesting game. It was 3 for Shabab Al Ahli and Ajman 1. Shabab Al Ahli delivered a confident performance, controlling the game with a quick attack and play and solid organization. In the 38th minute, Kartabia scored a penalty, calmly placing the ball into the corner, giving his team the lead and setting the tone. They took their chances well and limited Ajman impact, scoring a deserved 3-1 victory.
That's it for game week 10. Let's move on to game week 11. Al Dhafra secured their first away win in a 5-goal thriller against Khurfakan, and which puts them in 7th place. Goals, an own goal by Abdullah Rafahi, Al Khalawi and Rayan Yaslam got them across the line, and Al Dhafra brought their own flavour to the league this season, and I'm here for it. To be honest with you, it makes it unpredictable.
Al Wasl versus Al Wahda was 1-0 for Al Wasl. Al Wasl secured a valuable win thanks to their defense discipline and focus in key moments. They closed down spaces effectively and capitalized on a goalkeeper, Ash-Shamsi, tragic mistake scoring a late winning goal. The team played with a sensible approach, relying on a counter-pressing rather than attacking risk. Meanwhile, Al Wahda had more control over the ball, but struggled with poor finishing and failed to convert their chances. The late goal affected them mentally, ending their 10-week undefeated run.
It's interesting you say that, Isa, because we talk about moments, and Al Ain versus Sharjah had those moments. The difference is, with Al Ain playing in the consistency they've had, the moments they capitalized on was different to Sharjah. Sharjah had Kayo through on goal, and then Khalid Isa saved the shot. Then we had Labakoju, who had moments where we're used to seeing him hit the back of the net. But eventually, Kaku unlocked the defense, and Al Hussein Rahmi slotted away to give Al Ain the victory 2-0.
Al Nasr versus Banyas was 2-1. Al Nasr won the match based on their strategic organization. They controlled the tempo after scoring and defending well under pressure. Banyas showed a good attacking effort, especially in the second half, but suffered from defensive mistake and poor finishing, which prevent them from equalizing.
Ajman lost 1-0 to Kalba, and Al Bataih lost 1-0 to Dibba in very close encounters. For me, I was covering the Al Bataih versus Dibba game, and Muhannad Ali, the Dibba Iraqi striker, was a handful. All this season, he's been literally competing with some of the biggest names like Labakojo and Rahimi for most shots per game. So looking at this, I focused on his movement, and I kind of see why he's a threat. He's a threat because it puts people under pressure when you're moving consistently. You were a defender, you could hate playing against those type of attackers
Right.
who are moving all the time. And in this game, it was very much Al-Batayah taking it to Al-Diba, but in the end, Al-Diba get the victory.
So here's an interesting game, Omar. Shabab Al-Ahli versus Al Jazeera. It was 3-0. Shabab Al-Ahli delivered a complete and dominant performance. They applied the pressure from the start and opened a scoring with Sultan Adil after a swift reaction to a rebound in the 36th minute mark. In the second half, Yuri Cesar extended an advantage early, giving the team a strong advantage. In the 97th minute, Bruno sealed the win, scoring from close range. Al Jazeera struggled to break through Shabab Al-Ahli defense line and lacked possession in front of the goal. So that's it for game week 11. Omar, talk to me about game week 12.
Sharjah beat Al Nasr 4-2 in a proper game. Kevin Agudelo opened the scoring and then got injured, and Al Nasr didn't really look the same. Even his goal was a 1-2 with Ramirez. It was almost like an overhead kick assist into his path, and he hit it so sweetly to make it 1-0. Coronado then worked his way into a shooting position, which wrong-footed Abdullah Tamimi, and after that hit Salim Sultan. Al Nasr regained the lead just before halftime. With a Luka penalty who sent the keeper the wrong way, second half Sharjah came up with different energy. Coronado was in the mood and turned provider, this time setting up Kayo, who finished it clinically. You could tell the momentum was shifting, and Osman Kamara picked up the ball, beat his player, rounded the keeper, and put Sharjah ahead. Kayo killed the game off, following a perfect cross from Khalid Ibrahim to make it 4-2, game, set, and match.
Al Wahda versus Banyas. It was 3-0 for Al Wahda. Al Wahda dominated the match with a high attacking efficiency and solid defense, scoring 2 goals in the first half and the third in the second by Omar Khrebin, who completed an incredible hat-trick, firmly putting the game out of reach for Banyas. Kalba versus Al Wasl. Kalba and Al Wasl played an intense and thrilling encounter, ending in a draw 2-2. Both teams showed attacking intent with the lead changes, keeping the game competitive. Al Wasl dominated possession, but Kalba resilience and counter-attacks earned them a share of the points. The match highlighted end-to-end action.
Shabab Al-Ahli versus Al-Batayah at the Khalid bin Mohammed Stadium in Sharjah. It was a big victory for Shabab Al-Ahli, 4-0, and the game was over by literally the hour mark. Goals from Lima, Kartabi and Yahya Al-Ghassani literally sealed the game and, more importantly, moved Shabab Al-Ahli to third, at this stage getting closer and closer to their rivals.
Al Ain versus Al Dhafra. Al Ain secured a hard-fought 2-1 win over Al Dhafra with a balanced performing. Al Dhafra opened the scoring early at the 16th minute, scored a penalty, putting them in the early lead. In the second half, Laba Kojo found the net from a close range to bring Al Ain back on the level terms. The winning goal came at the 81st minute by Nasim Chadli, completing the comeback.
And that was from game week 9 to game week 12. Football without fans isn't the same.
This is when the teams need that support the most.
Come out and support your club.
Don't forget the giveaways that given out at each game.
Stay tuned to be a part of it.
That's episode 5 of KickBack.
Thanks for tuning in, and let us know your feedback.
Subscribe, likes, and comment.
See you in the next episode.